The ANC will conclude its 5th National General Council at Boksburg, east of Johannesburg. The NGC's role is to review the performance of the leadership as well as the party. Let's now cross to Sakina Kamwendo for more on the ANC National General Council. So, Sakina, you've reached the end. This is the final day, and I suppose there's really a lot to reflect on about what's being said and the future of the party.
Indeed, Leanne, there is. Unfortunately, we haven't had much formal feedback and briefing in terms of what has been discussed in the commissions. But we do expect that there will be a flurry today as the media will be informed about what some of those discussions intentionally went into. Samkelo Maseko, and I just brought you back. Speaking of the commission streams, we were told there would be 17 yesterday. Let's just look at some of those. The more important ones, of course, economic transformation would be key amongst those, but also the whole issue around the renewal of the African National Congress. And we touched in the last crossing on the whole issue of the Ferrari that's turned into a Taz and what's happening there with KZN. But speaking to Johannesburg and what's happening here, the SG also, had some words to say about that.
Indeed, Secretary General Fikile Mbalula of the African National Congress said that just because Dada Morero lost the Johannesburg Regional Conference does not mean that he now has to vacate the position of the executive mayor of the economic hub of the country, the city of gold, because the ANC is not fully in charge of Johannesburg. It's running Johannesburg in a coalition government. And if you remove Dada, it may be a problem to negotiate with other political formations on who must come in as the interim mayor until the elections. So he's saying Dada must stay put until the elections. He himself is confused at this point in time. I did have an engagement with him yesterday.
Confused or conflicted?
I'll say
both.
Conflicted and confused because he is not in the REC. He is not the leader of the ANC in Joburg. He has to take the mandate from Connie Papela House. There is the PMC, the Political Management Council of other political formations where he's not in charge. The regional secretary, Sasabona Mangai, is in charge. But interestingly, the most sober person from all of the discussions we've engaged with has been Sasabona, the regional secretary, who said that Samkelo, Loiso got 55% of the conference, Dada Morero got 45% of the conference when it comes to the provincial chair position. We can't repeat a Thabo Mbeki and a Jacob Zuma. So they are at the back of their minds that cognizance that we may rupture this organization if we were to be clumsy in how we deal with this matter. But a part of Dada wants to leave, a part of him wants to stay. But as ANC leaders always say, when the movement speaks, who am I to say no?
Indeed. Getting back to the commission streams here and who's chairing what, where are we hoping to hear a little bit of traction as far as the recalibration is concerned?
We are going to hear from the report backs in the commissions, where we won't be inside, but we will ultimately, once they are done reporting back at plenary, they will be having press briefings. I do know, and I saw visuals of former President Mbeki. He was at the organizational redesign and renewal commission, where he was speaking especially about the renewal of the African National Congress. It's a topic he's been very passionate about at this point in time. President Ramaphosa was at the economic transformation commission speaking about the economy of the country, bringing in private sector players in the build, operate, transfer, opening up rail to private sector players, particularly when it comes to the export of South Africa's raw dust minerals. Also the hot topic, leveraging on African minerals, beneficiation. You do know that the furnaces industry within the country is going to be getting a reprieve from the department, from electricity, from Eskom. They are going to be lowering the price of electricity for the steel sector and for those who've got boiler makers and the smelters, etc. So you are seeing that they are going into the reindustrialization of the country full force, particularly if you look at the international markets. They are about 60% less when it comes to electricity prices for the industry within smelters, furnaces, and South Africa is trying to compete globally with countries such as China on that particular aspect. And of course, other parastatals, Transnet, Eastern Cape, Oscar Maboyane, he wants the detensification of Transnet, particularly from the Durban port going to the Nguga port and the port and other Port Elizabeth ports, in order to use that particular artillery as well, as opposed to the N3 that sometimes gets blocked in Moy River and trucks burnt, and that ultimately affects the South African economy. So there's a myriad of issues. The unfortunate part, every province is retreating to its corner and defending its own economy. Good for their people, but it may ultimately affect the ANC going forward on regionalism.
And of course, this is going to be interesting, and the issues that Samkelo mentions about the privatization, or at least partly so, the public-private partnerships is one of the points of divergence when it comes to the tripartite alliance, and especially with regard to the SACP, and that no doubt will factor into the reconfiguration discussion around the alliance. So with that, it's back to you in studio, Leanne.